Everyone needs to sacrifice. That was the exact phrase used by the new corporate director as she sat across from me in the executive glass conference room. She smiled with a smug air of authority after Ardent Group acquired our hotel management firm. After 15 long years of building our sales network from the ground up and personally managing our top luxury hotel accounts, I was presented with a choice that was not really a choice at all. They were cutting my base pay by 40% overnight while expecting me to train my cheap replacement. She thought I would bend the knee, accept the pay cut, and quietly hand over 15 years of industry secrets and client trust. She had no idea that I held the keys to every single major revenue stream in the entire division. What followed was a lesson in corporate hubris that cost the new leadership everything they spent millions to acquire. My name is Sarah, and for 15 years I gave my life to Apex Hospitality Services. I started as a junior sales representative making cold calls and spent over a decade working my way up to senior director of corporate accounts. Over those years, I built relationships with major hotel chains, luxury resorts, and high-end corporate event planners. These were not just company clients. They were people who trusted me personally. They signed multi-million-dollar service contracts because they knew I delivered perfection every single time. Everything changed when our founder decided to retire and sold the business to Ardent Group, a massive private equity firm known for buying thriving companies, slashing overhead to increase short-term profits, and gutting company culture. The ink was barely dry on the acquisition deal when Ardent sent in their corporate cleanup crew, led by a newly appointed regional director named Victoria. Victoria was 30 years old, possessed an MBA from an elite university, and had zero practical experience in hospitality management. Her entire corporate strategy consisted of staring at spreadsheets and treating veteran staff like lines on an expense report. On her second week, she called me into her office for what she described as an operational alignment meeting. She did not offer me a chair or ask about my strategy. She simply slid a piece of paper across the desk. It was a new contract with a 40% pay cut on my base salary, a slashed commission rate, and a class requiring me to train to junior hires as client managers. When I told her that this offer was completely unacceptable given my 15 years of stellar performance reviews, she laughed in my face. She said everyone needs to sacrifice during a transition and warned me that I was easily replaceable. What Victoria did not understand was how corporate hospitality agreements actually function. I signed the resignation papers that afternoon, refusing the new low-pay offer. Victoria smugly assumed I was forfeiting everything, but she failed to read the contract details. Because Ardent Group restructured our legal entities during the buyout, my original non-compete clause became legally void. Furthermore, the multi-million-dollar accounts I managed had specific service-level clauses that allowed clients to cancel their management agreements without penalty if their assigned senior account director was replaced or resigned. I packed my desk, walked out, and immediately called my top attorney. Within 48 hours, I filed for my own independent corporate consulting agency. Then, I called the CEOs and regional directors of every hotel chain I had managed over the last decade. I explained the situation honestly. I told them that Apex had been bought out by an aggressive equity group that was gutting experience, staff, and lowering service standards. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Within 2 weeks, 8 of our largest luxury hotel accounts served written notices of contract termination to Ardent Group, citing the immediate absence of their designated senior director. When Victoria realized what was happening, she panicked. Her entire division was hemorrhaging millions of dollars in recurring annual revenue. She called my cell phone frantically, leaving voicemail after voicemail, offering to restore my original salary and even offering a promotion. I ignored every single call. Instead, those 8 hotel chains signed brand new management consulting contracts directly with my newly established firm. Ardent Group had paid millions to acquire our company, expecting massive profits. But Victoria lost over 60% of the firm's total annual revenue in less than 30 days. An internal audit was triggered by Ardent Group Board of Directors. and Victoria was publicly terminated for administrative negligence and extreme revenue loss. She tried to play hardball with a dedicated veteran, only to realize that loyalty goes both ways, and expertise cannot be replaced by a corporate spreadsheet. Corporate suits often mistake loyalty for weakness and think that experience can be easily erased on a balance sheet. Victoria thought she was being a ruthless corporate strategist by slashing my income, but she ended up losing the very foundation that made the company valuable. Today, my independent firm is thriving with the exact same clients who chose integrity over corporate greed. Always remember your true value in the workplace, and never let anyone make you sacrifice what you worked years to build.